allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes. I'll make the motion.
Second. Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. First resolution we have up is a resolution appointing certain individuals to the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation Board of Directors. People who are appointing. We have a list of all the other directors, and I guess the town supervisor is going to be determined. Director Rodwell, Chair President, Jim Bell, Treasurer, Daniel Britwick, Secretary, Paul Stewart, Marty Webster, Mark Tesperio, Anthony Clary, and Linda Egan.
So moved.
Okay, first and second, any discussion?
I had a question for Rich. Can we do a resolution appointing a TBD, or should that particular one be removed until we know the name and do another resolution on that?
That should be removed. You can't appoint. You would have to appoint that individual separately.
Should we remove it now, or if we have it
Just leave it blank.
Next Thursday, we could
If you have next Thursday, then you could add it.
pass it as is and change it next Thursday if we don't have a name.
Okay, we're all set. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any discussion?
Abstain.
Okay. Up is a resolution adopting County of Oswego Local Law Number 1 of 2024, entitled Local Law Creating Department of Information Technology, County of Oswego. Fees for efficiency and optimize their cybersecurity and changing their name.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, the first, first and second. Any other discussion?
Are there any increase to our employment records based on this change?
Pardon?
Any positions, any new positions?
No, it brings what we've already done informally, the computer people who are assigned to specific departments under the direction of IT, but that's already been that way. And eventually, and we'll need to change the title of the director. Right now it's Director of Central Services. It'll be Director of Information Technology.
It moves all the roster over. It does have a deputy position, but that's subject to creation by the legislature. It does allow that, and it also incorporates some of the standards that the comptroller has for review of municipal networks and best practices and things like that. And it abolishes central services as well.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I have a quick question. How long has it been separated like that? They were different, not reporting to one individual or?
Always, yeah, it was like that for a very long time. And I think it was originally called Central Services because back it was created as mostly telephones.
It was when we had the IBM AS400s.
Yeah.
We had talked about this for a while.
Yeah. Dave, you?
Could there be some consideration for moving the management of the county's websites over to that department? It's a lot of work and it's really a technical position. The person who does it now is very highly skilled graphic artist, and time that he could be spent on our promotion and tourism team doing that valuable work is offset by the time he has to spend helping people change pages on the website and things like that. It seems to me, in fact, Rich even mentioned responsibility for municipal networks should reside within this group, but it's never been really discussed. I know it's a burden for the department right now.
I think this is worded generically enough that could happen in the future, right? It doesn't have to be specifically saying delineating websites.
It's more towards network and security and operations, phones, things like that. But You'd have to take a look at it, and also have to look at the job title and duty statement of the individual that's currently holding those duties.
Would that have to be changed in the local law?
I don't believe so. I haven't looked.
Okay, so we can do this as local, we could do this as the local law is currently working,
You'd have to create a position in that department.
right? But that doesn't require local.
No, it does not.
Okay.
You have to create a position in the new department.
Or just assign that task to somebody with those skills.
Yes.
I would just think that we would need a lot of discussion on that, and maybe Tim's input. They've really done a great job with the websites. So maybe they are the people to do it.
There's some things on the horizon that we're supposed to phase out the .com and move to .gov for all the email websites. I think it's sometime this year or near next year.
No, and more specifically, I think the main county website where all departments are and people have lots of input from various places as opposed to the tourism website, which fits more appropriately under that title.
Still think it needs a lot of discussion. That's my point.
Yeah.
Some more.
Makes sense, though. I mean, that is something that should fall into that group. I mean, it's a design issue, you know, they have to design it, they're gonna have to keep it up. That shouldn't be under one individual in tourism.
Tim and I have talked about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those that can fall on either side, because you have the technical end about programming, but then in the end, it's a public affairs, public relations publication. So I think there's a role for both there, because the Public Information Office is part of that tourism office. So they're trained to be able how to communicate with the public. And that's a skill set that isn't necessarily needed in an IT department. What you need in an IT department, though, is the programming. So it's really a partnership to.
Right.
Could you coordinate that conversation between the individuals affected by that?
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. I was just checking, so next up, we have a resolution to authorize the reclassification of one position, county clerk's office.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you bringing this forward. This is a reclassification in the motor vehicle department, and it affects the whole department, both county clerks and motor vehicle. Reason being is we have a vacancy in our senior account clerk position in the clerk's office. Reevaluating, as we all do, I believe, when somebody departs from a position, I reevaluated the duties, and it got me wondering why, for at least the last three administrations, mine included, that all of the accounting was done in one spot instead of having the person who specializes in motor vehicles or somebody from motor vehicles doing the accounting work for motor vehicles. So with that being said, I figured the best course of action moving forward is putting some of those accounting duties for motor vehicle over into the motor vehicle department. That would create this principal motor vehicle clerk. It'll also give us an opportunity with the continuing training requirements that are coming through for motor vehicle. It'll give me the opportunity to have a trainer, a classified trainer that we can send out there to work with each office to make sure we're doing the best we can, interpreting and following through the rules that state motor vehicle has passed on to us. It'll also give me an opportunity to help with constituent services, customer service and conduct and stuff of that nature in that training as well. Really, I think this will be a seamless transition. I want to hire from within for this position. I really think that it'll help expedite and be a little bit more efficient with the customer service that we have in motor vehicle.
Okay.
And I'm able to pay for it within my budget.
Just a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Frank?
I had a question. Terry, with this, so you can eliminate the senior completely,
And it's gonna go to a principal motor vehicle.
so that there won't be a senior anymore?
No.
Okay, okay.
And actually, just so you're aware, Frank, my idea is I have 2 very good seniors in Fulton, but being the size that office is in the proximity to Oswego, I'm going to go down, and I've already talked to the person that I want to be the senior up there. Having 1 senior, but having this principal motor vehicle clerk be a floater that we used to have, and this person can float around and where there's a vacancy in seniors, they can run it, like she needs tomorrow off, I'll send the principal up to open the office and run the office that way. So,
All right, so this is only going to be in the Oswego office?
well, she's going to be in all 3 offices.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, okay, no problem, okay. How you propose? All right, unless you already passed it, you already passed it. Yeah, we're already there. Gotta remember, Dave,
Next up, we have a resolution authorizing increase for witness fees for the public defender's office in the amount of $50,000.
Make a motion to discuss.
First and second. Open for discussion.
Yeah, our office has just started, we've been open for a year, but there's a lag between that and then when we started having criminal trials, which we just started having. And the budget we have for that is insufficient. It won't even last really one big trial. I mean, like a heavy felony trial. I spoke with ILS too. They are going to cover up to $53,000 a year for this. So it is covered, won't cost the county anything, and it would make our life a lot easier representing clients.
All dogs here.
In representing clients at trials, which, our office now that we've been up for about a year is going to start having a lot throughout this year.
What was the budget for it?
Was it 10?
10,000.
10,000?
Yeah.
The discussion. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? For number 5, we're gonna pull that until they have time to do some more research with them. People are going to be applying to that department. We'll have a special meeting of that. Okay. Terry, you have anything else for the county clerks?
I just have a couple things. So everybody's aware, the 3-year background recertification for the state police, that's all done online. It's really a pain for everyone. I found an extra computer at the record center that we were able to refurbish, if you will, through IT and have it so it's locked to just the state police website so people can come into the office, utilize our computer to recertify, and we can help them with that process as well. I know there's many individuals in the county who don't have internet access or have a little bit of trouble trying to fill out that certification. Quite honestly, we were doing it for our constituents as they stood at our counter, but we didn't feel that it was right. I showed it myself. I didn't feel it was right that I'm having a clerk check the box that, yes, I agree to this when it's supposed to be the person on the other side of the counter. So we have used an in-house computer, have it set up with a printer. They can print their one-page recertification notice so that they know when they have to come back in. So if you have any constituents that have any concerns on that, have them stop in. We can get that done in the office. The other thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is this is Donate Life Month. We should be pretty proud here in this county. Last year we had a 5% increase from what we were. We went from 61% to 66% of registered motor vehicle operators or license holders who are registered organ donors. We're going to continue on with our effort this month at various events planned, one being the proclamation at the Ledge meeting that we will draw a little notoriety to the Donate Life Month, and we're also going to have our first ever Donate Life Month flag raising ceremony in Pulaski at the courthouse. That'll happen next week. Look for an email. I'll send one out soon on that.
Questions for Terry? Okay, next we'll be going to the Board of Elections.
Things are getting really sketchy over at our building. We have people that come up over the hill. We've had somebody try to break in. I had a call at 5 in the morning a few weeks ago. Somebody was trying to get in and set off the alarms. We've had somebody in the building. And my concern is the darkness of our parking lot for when they're bringing back the stuff for elections. And I would like if we could get something from Highway maybe to put a light up there. Most of the inspectors that bring back the bags are little old ladies, and I'm just afraid that they're gonna see people there and they're liable to come over. I mean, when we had snow, they walk right around our building. I'm just nervous. Things have gotten different than what it has been. And if I could have some extra light just for the night when we're bringing in the supplies, you know, when they're bringing in all the election results. It's same process every time, but in November, I think it's a chance of it being more aggressive on us. So that's my request for you, is if we could do that.
I'd like to say that also the warehouse is under camera, but our office is not. If we could have some sort of a doorbell camera, a ring camera, something on the front and maybe the side, nothing extravagant, because I know the plan is to move our offices eventually, but that might be a good thing to have as well, just something to get us through the November election.
Well, we
Cheap
also,
ring camera.
they totally disappeared over there. I talked to Austin about some stuff, and he's like, well, we're just letting that go until you're out of there, and then, well, they're letting it go now. I mean,
It's been going for a while.
It's been going for a while, but I mean, I can't even get hold of Nate when I call. He never returns my call. But my concern is the people bringing back the election results to us. I would really like some lights in the parking lot if I could do that.
Is that, do you need that in the primaries or is it just get dark for the general election?
Well, the June primary, the hours that stays light, but we still are there until 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's all of them, you're in pitch black at that time. I would feel more comfortable for everybody. My girls were talking about it, the girls in the office were talking about it, and, you know, they're fearful because of the way things have gone. But, if we could just do that.
Who manages that bill?
IDA?
Yeah,
OCO, operations, we forgot.
Yeah. Just
What some dusted dawn lights are on the outside of that building, what costs it all to throw on
No.
every day, not even just for election, every day.
Well, what we're thinking of specifically is those highway, that they just pull them up on a truck.
portable ones,
Yeah, the portable ones, turn it on for a
The
day,
lights that are on
take it
there now,
away.
you might just well stand out there with a match.
They're very
It does not light up anything.
Right, but
You know-
all buildings I get, first thing I do is put dusted dawns all
Yeah,
around it.
yeah.
That'd be great.
I can talk to Highway about it, get
Just,
some ideas.
yeah, just something for, 3 days. Starting tomorrow and
Portable.
one in June and one in November. Just so that
Better idea.
we're not so vulnerable.
So the camera is of a lesser, but it would be nice to have one on the front door and the loading dock, just in case we'd have a record of what transpired. Irrefutable.
I can go all over the station, get the area car, the police area car and sit there as well.
Should be.
Well, people,
You know, sit right in the parking lot.
I know that the state Board of Elections has been talking about working with local law enforcement for the general in November about having extra people deployed, but I don't know that that's come up for this
Not
one
for this one.
or the June.
No, I'm not afraid of the election being hijacked, but
No,
the old
You
people,
got sketchy people down in that village.
We have some encampments,
Oh, I know.
yeah,
so
And they get in any building everywhere.
Isn't the operation in Oswego County, can't we just let them know that needs?
It's possible, yeah, we can look at
we talked to them about it,
put screws to them,
yeah.
that'd be nice.
When I talked to Austin, he said, well, I thought the county was gonna do it, and we're gonna walk away from that building. So that's where I got with
Still
him.
paying for it. Just
Yeah,
still paying.
I know.
Yeah, can't do anything.
I know I've asked for just a simple phone call. I get nothing.
Maybe you could, as the chairman, maybe you could call Austin.
Maybe it's what we're gonna do that.
One guy.
So, Dave,
I did my,
I'm happy to talk to him as well. I talk to him 2 or 3 times a week, so
okay,
try to light a
we're
fire.
gonna get taken care of.
well, tomorrow's the election. I know I'm late,
But for the other ones, subsequent.
but, you know,
Safe highway.
Yeah, that's just a little portable one, they pull up and unhitch.
And you only need it 3 times.
Right.
right, it's not a huge thing.
You don't need to do a permit.
We could-
right now.
Something portable.
Okay, Dave,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We, as you recall from the last legislative meeting, we authorized broadband services to Empire Telecommunications. We've been working with them to get a contract in place. There is a grant application due later this month that they're working feverishly on putting together. One of the issues that we have right now is that almost all the money that's available now or will be available soon is focused on what they call unserved and underserved residences or addresses. So when we make an application, the amount of money that we can get and the addresses that we can serve is limited to that database. And the state has a map that they've put together based on inventory that's been done in the past. There's a window right now to challenge that map, and there's a process where individual business owners or homeowners can go to that map and look at they drill right down to their own individual address or their mother-in-law's or whatever, and then challenge whether or not they actually have service if they don't believe that they do. I know that's a challenge for people who don't have service, but there's a process. We can go to a library or some other place, and also we did a mailing. It should be reaching people in the next couple of days that they can call us, and we'll help them walk through the process if they have access, but it's poor, the technology is bad, they can't do the things that are required to fulfill the challenge. We can either help them over the phone, or we can submit a bulk challenge on their behalf by gathering all this information from the various places. So you're talking to your constituents, remind them when that mailing comes that it's really important to help build out this network and get future funds. We'll be working with public information officers to get a press release out in the next few days as well, because the mailing, I believe, went to the post office on Friday, so it should be bulk mail. Sometimes it's slower than others, but should be in the next few days. It'll be reaching every address in the county that's outside of the 2 cities, because 2 cities pretty much basically are fully served already, and challenges within those jurisdictions would be not very competitive, but try to reach everybody else. So that includes, the fire station, everything, and surprisingly, there's addresses that you would think are served, but are right now identified as unserved, and vice versa. Ones that are identified as served obviously aren't, when you look at the neighborhood around them. For example, the high school in Fulton now is classified as underserved. That's one we don't want to challenge, because every address we have that says that affords us more money to build the network out. So really short time frame to do this, but if you have a chance to talk to folks, town board meeting or whatever, just let them know when they see that card. We'll help them through it. Don't be intimidated by it. I know, like in Hannibal, Noel is concerned that there's a lot of addresses that say they're served, but folks believe they're not. I'm happy to share the map with anyone, or you can simply log on and look at it. And, it'll take you right down to street level and tell you the address, whether it's business, residential, what kind of service is there or not there. And this is, the state's looking primarily at fiber, or in some cases they'll accept cable, like Spectrum if they have high-end cable. But you can tell by this map very easily. 2 clicks, once you're on the map, find your home, find your business, click on it, and it'll give you all the data that you can then say, no, that's not true, I know that's not true, and do a speed test, and we'll put a challenge in for you. So that's taken a lot of our time right now. We're also starting to do closeouts on the 100 and some ARPA projects that were authorized over the last couple of years, visiting the sites, checking their records, if they had scope of work that involved construction, looking at the project, making sure that it got done properly, making sure the procurement records are in place. They sign a form saying that they understand that they need to keep the forms for 6 years after December 31st, 2026. Pretty thorough process, doesn't take long. We've got it to a point where it's pretty easy for the folks. It's going smoothly so far.
Any other questions for Dave? Thank you. Next up, we have real property.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have much. The local assessment communities are all finishing up their tentative assessment roles this month. They all get published on May 1st. The training that I do for boards of assessment review is at the end of this month, April 30th, in person over in the lunch chambers. And that's for anybody who's been newly appointed or reappointed, because their appointments last for 5 years. And when they get reappointed, I do the training again for them. It's also going to be online the very next day, May 1st, for those that can't make it in person. But then those tentative assessment roles get filed on May 1st for everybody to check out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the public defender's office.
The only update I had is I have one new attorney came on from at the last meeting. Also, we've had about 6 graduating law students who've applied to work in our office. We'll be making decisions on that soon, so they may help fill out our attorney shortage, as the state will allow them to be counted as an attorney, as long as they're working under a practice order, which means the courts allow them to go in and practice as an attorney as they wait to get admitted into the bar. So if we can get half of them, we should be almost fully staffed with our attorneys.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So,
Yes, Brian.
how many do we have currently? What's our staff level?
8.5. And we're going to need about 14. I think our budget is for 12, so we're going to need a couple more above budget.
What are the, how long, if you had 6 more, you're gonna be right at, what, 14?
Approximately, we're going over it with ILS to see how the cases come in, because depending on the time of year, you get more or less. We have to have a certain number of attorneys per hour. So misdemeanor counts as 6 hours, and then other cases work off of that. An attorney can't do more than like 1,800 hours. So you're looking about one attorney can handle 300 cases. We're going to probably run, for this year, we'll probably run close to 3,000 cases. Could be higher, could be lower. So that's what we're looking out for. So our current trend, if we have 14 attorneys, will be okay. Now the trend may kick up a little, may kick down a little. That's where we're at right now.
So how is caseload now? I mean, are we handling?
Yes, we're handling everything that we can handle. Again, it's pretty much picking up new cases, about 80-85% of all the cases that are coming in.
Now, how does that get reimbursed back to us in terms of going through the state?
Well, ILS budgets, so I have two budgets, one budget with the county and one budget with ILS. And ILS, as like I said earlier, they'll cover up to $53,000 for witness or expert fees. So if we spend 60, that means the county has to pay 7, the state will pick up 53. So the attorney slots right now, depending if you're an attorney, senior attorney, the ILS will pay a certain fee for it. And then the county pays the rest.
What do you use to determine your projection of 3,000 cases?
Just the cases that we're picking up now.
What, times 12? How do you figure that out?
Well, right now we're looking at quarterly. Look at the quarter. We're not really looking at our first quarter because we didn't really take that much, but we look at quarterly what's coming in and what we have. So, yeah,
You just extrapolate that out?
generally, yes.
Well, rather than generally, specifically, how do you get that?
Well, we look at the cases for each quarter, and then
So how many cases do we have this last quarter?
since we began, we've had about 1,500 cases. This last quarter that just ended, we're around 600.
600?
Yeah.
So you closed 900?
No, they're still open. Some cases are open. I'm just talking total cases.
Questions? Right.
The new hires that you're talking about, how will that affect, because we just moved, they just authorized to move $50,000 out of your salaries and wages, correct?
Yes.
Into the fee. I mean, I'm just questioning, will you be coming back and asking for more money because you got budgeted for, you said 12, correct?
Yes.
And how will this affect, that $50,000 affect hiring of these 4 new,
Well, since they be coming in halfway through the budget year, it wouldn't affect us at all. There should be no effect.
okay, I'll remember.
Frank, when we do a budget matter, moving money from vacancy lines, we always make sure that that amount has already accumulated there before we would send it out to you guys to consider. So he's already got $50,000 worth of vacancy savings.
That's because they're not hired.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But once they're hired, they're still drawing off the same line of its, the first year, half year savings is still in that line.
So you say that there's 6 hours allotted for a misdemeanor. That's to handle the case from start to finish?
Just from arraignment, so it doesn't matter if the case takes us an hour or 10 hours. The state will say misdemeanor is 6, a felony is 17 hours, a violent felony is 35 hours.
Do you give you 6 hours for arraignment?
No, 6 hours for the case.
For the case?
For the case.
So
So if we have a case at arraignment, we get hit with 6 hours.
okay.
If that case takes us an hour, it takes us an hour. It takes us 10 hours, it takes an hour. The state only counts 6 hours. The state's not going to get into each and every different case. They just have, this is what it costs you. And if you go over these amounts at the end of the year, or get closer, you're going to start taking cases.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. City Council?
Thank you. Since the last meeting, we had 219 new criminal cases. 39 of those cases came from city court. The public defender's office is currently handling Oswego City Court, but when they conflict out of the case, it comes back to us. So we have about 40 cases from Oswego City Court since the last meeting. We paid $37,000 in criminal cases since the last meeting. That does not necessarily mean that the case ended since the last meeting. The attorneys have 120 days to voucher from disposition. So some of these cases are potentially from November and December of last year. On top of that, sometimes the judge might not approve it right away. So sometimes we're paying cases from 6 months previously. So the numbers can sometimes be a little misleading, but we did pay a little over $37,000 just in criminal cases. That is not counting family court cases. That's about 2/3 of the data compared to last year. So our office is starting to finally see a little bit of a reduction with the public defender's office coming up to staff. That makes sense because they started taking Fulton City Court on top of Oswego City Court around 4 months ago. So 120 days, 4 months, we're starting to finally see that impact. We are losing a few attorneys to the DA's office. We just recently found that out. So we are down a few attorneys. We are working with Onondaga County to try to see if I can potentially phone specific attorneys up and see if they're willing to take Oswego County cases. Because as Mr. Lombardi said, once the public defender's office hits their caseload, it comes back to assigned counsel. So we need to make sure we have enough attorneys on the panel to handle those cases.
Anybody have any other questions? Thank you. Next up, we've got to go into executive session. We'll prefer motion to do that.
Opposed or pending litigation, tax property matters.
Second.
I'll over after.
Great.
Second. We're adjourned. Thank you.